神たるファラオの武勇を見せるとしよう。絶望による死を許す。
Fate Grand Order is going to have its CCC event rerun coming up in just a couple days on the 17th. So I'm going to go over a couple of quick pointers and some frequently asked questions in regards to the event to help all of you prepare a little bit, because it is an important event and you want to be prepared. So first of all, it's important to note that you must have cleared Part 1 in order to participate in the event. So make sure to get that done within the next couple days if you can. If not, no big deal. But just know this is the last time that you'll be able to experience CCC, at least for the foreseeable future, so push through it if you can. Now, to build off of that, CCC is based on, but not necessarily tied to, the Fate Extra timeline. That, of course, is the video game series that begins with Fate Extra, and then into the never Western localized Fate Extra CCC, and then more recently Fate Extella, the Umbral Star that was on the PS4 and PS Vita. If you have not played those games, which would be entirely reasonable, I'm going to have some links in the description to summaries that are going to go over them, that will tell you a little bit about the world and some of the concepts that this event is going to play with, like the Moon Cell, BB, the Sakura 5, Kiara Sessuine, the difference between wizards and mages, some of these kinds of things that you may or may not want to know about. Like I said, this event is not tied to the timeline or the storyline of those games, so if you know nothing about them, you can still enjoy this event perfectly fine. But if you're a lore nerd like me, you may want to know a little bit more about some of these concepts, so consider it some optional additional reading that I'm going to have in the description. Now, this event is really good. It's got a really great story. The music is excellent. There's a lot of really great gameplay. There's a lot of fun boss fights and battles in the game. There's going to be some new characters introduced in the gacha that are super fun to use. There's going to be some reruns of some characters who are really fun to play. So just everything about this event is really pretty great. It's an event that is highly worth experiencing. Again, if you're able to clear Part 1 or already have it clear, you're going to want to make sure that you are reading along with this event and reading the story and having the sound on. That is a big tip, actually. Have the sound on during cutscenes and during gameplay. There are some surprises for you if you have the sound on the whole time, so make sure to do that. Now, this event is fairly grindy and fairly difficult. It's a mission-based event like the recent Ilya rerun, if you were able to experience that one, where you're going to have 100 tasks that will unlock as you complete earlier tasks, and they are based on things like gather X amount of resources, defeat X number of enemies, defeat servants with X trait. What all this means is that I heavily recommend using a guide or a walkthrough that will tell you exactly which missions you need to be, or which quests you need to be farming at any given time to have the most efficient progress route through the event. This is a event that is very AP intensive. Every free quest is going to run you 40 AP, so you really want to make sure that you are wasting as little of it as possible. So once again, I'm going to have a link in the description to a walkthrough guide to this event that will walk you through step by step which quest you need to be farming and when to get the most efficient mission progression with every quest that you run. Something that you should be aware of is that CCC is actually a canonical part of the main story. It is best thought of like an additional chapter in the main story. It is actually part of the Epic of Remnant 1.5 storyline. So, like I said earlier, this is an event that you really want to experience, since this is your last chance to experience it for yourself, rather than just reading about it or reading a transcript of it or something. This is a important, pivotal part of the main plot of the game. A lot of events are technically canon, but are not directly impactful to the story in the same way that this one is. So if you're able to, I really recommend that you make the effort on this event. For my last point, I want to talk about Kingprotea and alter egos generally. A lot of people are wondering, is she worth pulling for? I think the answer to that is going to depend on what you're comparing her to and what you already have. Alter egos get a 1.5 times class advantage multiplier against all cavalry class enemies. The standard class advantage multiplier is 2.0. So on paper, you're better off counterclassing. However, that's only true if you have servants who are comparable to Kingprotea in other ways, right? If you're comparing Kingprotea to Medea and Charles Babbage and Fuma Kotaro and 100% Hassan, Kingprotea is going to outperform all of them, of course. She's going to do the job of all of them in one servant rather than 3 or 4. If you're somebody like me, and you have access to Sanzang and Castronero and Jack the Ripper and King Hassan, the alter ego is going to get outperformed by servants with comparable decks, stats, skills, noble phantasms, but who also have that benefit of class advantage in the full sense, in the 2.0 sense rather than the 1.5 sense. So if you're a regular spender or you've been playing for a long time and have good SSRs in those classes, Kingprotea is probably going to be outperformed by what you already have. But if you're a newer player or a free-to-play player or even a light spender and your current anti-assassin DPS unit is Medea and your current best rider killer is 100% Hassan, then you have the opportunity in Kingprotea to pick up and build one servant who will perform the jobs of 3 or 4 other SSRs. So she's not the best in the game at killing those classes, but she will do a good enough job most of the time. That's everything I have to say about the CCC Rerun. If you have any further questions for me, I'm going to have my Discord username in the description. You can shoot me a private message or you can comment on the video down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this helpful. Let me know how I can be of further help to you, and I will see you next time.